How is everyone doing today? Welcome to Midwest House Day, somewhere between 3 and 43, I believe. The sun is coming out. It's Sunday. We all lost an hour of sleep, but we're ready for more. Welcome to Midwest House. I'm Ted. I'm one of the co-founders of Midwest House. I'm very excited you're all here. We have a lot of great stuff going on today. Indoors right now, we've got our Midwest Madness pitch competition happening. Got 8 founders pitching. That's going to be very exciting. And then out here, I am thrilled that I've convinced some really, really cool people for this little experiment of a program here, talking about talent attraction, some of the different programs that ecosystems all over the Midwest and the country are doing. So I'm going to now introduce Hilary Doe, the state of Michigan, where I'm from, our new Chief Growth Officer. She literally just flew in, which is why she looks more awake than the rest of us. And I'm gonna introduce her, have her come up, talk a little bit about what Michigan's doing and what we're gonna do today. Thank you all for your attention. It's gonna be a good one.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Good. I am still awake, so I'm gonna take advantage of it. Are you all sort of awake? Yay, okay, I'll try not to put you to sleep. All right, so like Ted said, we're here today to talk a little bit about talent attraction. You're gonna hear from me for a few minutes, talking a little bit about what Michigan's doing, and then from 5 folks in rapid succession for 5 minutes each. We're calling it a 5x5. All of us, have in common that we have the incredible opportunity of getting the chance to tell our states, the country, and the world about who we are, what we have on offer, and we get the chance to try to find our people. And all of you spend your lives, hopefully, looking for the place where you get to be, the place where you belong, right? It's such a big part of our lives where we get to spend our time. And it's such an honor and a gift to get to share the incredible place that the state of Michigan is. Anybody here from Michigan? All right. Well, then you all have the privilege of having grown up in the place with the longest freshwater coastline in America. Am I right? Yeah, thank you very much. You all have the privilege of having grown up in the place that was the arsenal of democracy. You have grown up in the place when the world was in crisis that stepped up to solve it, and we're about to do it again in the climate crisis. And Michigan, in this moment, also has a big challenge ahead of us. Michigan was one of about 34% of states that had been seeing population stagnation and declines. We have an opportunity to be at the head of high-growth industries like future mobility. We have an opportunity, and the whole country needs to be rooting for Michigan if we're going to meet any of our climate objectives. But in order to do that, we do need talent. We need to retain our young folks. We need to make sure we're prepared for 21st century opportunity. And we need to invite young folks from across the country that want to help us solve those problems to come on home. But in order to get that done, we need to make sure we have a great product, great places to call home, the product being our state, our communities, and we need to tell our story, right? So, anybody know the great Governor Gretchen Whitmer? Any fans in the house? All right, so in June of last year, our governor created a new position that had never existed before, the role of Chief Growth Officer. If you haven't heard of that role before, it's because there's never been one. I'm Michigan's first Chief Growth Officer, but also Michigan is the first state in the nation to name a Chief Growth Officer. That's because we like being first movers and getting things done. We're innovative and creative. Anybody agree? All right, and we're gonna try to be first movers in this regard too. We borrowed that concept of being a chief growth officer from other industries because we like the idea of saying, hey, we know that we need to listen to young folks in our state and across the country about what they're saying that they want in a value proposition in their communities. And so when we created this position, first thing we did was travel across our whole state. We went to over 800 zip codes, listened to folks in 2.5 months. Over 10,000 people responded to surveys. We had over 80 events in 2.5 months. That means 6 in one day sometimes. Our Director of Public Engagement is here, so thanks to Julia for helping organize that. It meant lots of driving all over the state and lots of Taco Bell for anybody who doesn't know how you get 80 events done in 2.5 months. But it also meant a lot of learning because you have to go slow to go fast. You have to listen to do better. And it meant coming out the other side with real priorities about what young folks in our state want to know, or want their communities to look like. We did national polling. We did independent reviews of faster growing states. We did work with bipartisan folks across our state, independent commission that produced recommendations on December 14th of last year. And already, we've started taking action on those. What did some of them look like? Recommendations for 2 years of college for everybody, affordable and free. It looked like a recommendation for universal pre-K for everyone in our state so young families could save $10,000 a year and ensure that their children would have a great place to call home. Looked like recommendations that our talent would have incentives and opportunities to find their way home. In fact, when we asked young people across the country, what's the one thing that might cause you to consider Michigan or to think about moving? It's a high friction thing, right? To pick up your whole life and consider going somewhere else. Do you know what the top answer was? More than cash incentives, more than anything else. It was a down payment on a home. It was access to opportunity, to access to a dream that sometimes seems really unattainable for folks in this era, right? And it's something that you could get in the state of Michigan, in a great American city like the one that I moved to after a decade away in Brooklyn, in the great city of Detroit, where I moved to with my family, where we get to bike in 8 minutes downtown and be season ticket holders to the Pistons. They're great. They're great. They're going to get better. They're going to get better coming back. It's good. Anywho, I'm really, really proud of that policy work that we're doing and that agenda that we're chasing because it's bold. It's not at all shy. We're going to get it done. We're values forward. We're doing the hard things and we're not afraid. It's unflinching. And at the same time, we're being loud and proud about our story. We're going to tell everybody here, everybody, everywhere they'll listen, everybody in our state, across our region, and around the country that Michigan is a great place to call home, as all y'all know. And I hope that you know it's a group project and it's going to take all of us doing exactly the same. I hope you'll be our best advocates and recruiters. I hope if you haven't been home in a while, you'll come and visit. I hope if you haven't seen Grand Rapids or Detroit or Traverse City or Marquette, you'll give them a visit. I hope that if you forgot, you'll remember. I hope that if you haven't invested, you will. I hope that you'll help us build something beautiful because we all deserve it. And I hope that you'll realize this isn't about Michigan and Ohio fighting over an 18-year-old or Michigan and Tulsa or Michigan and Tennessee fighting over who gets no. This is about everybody telling their story and finding exactly the people who belong their way home. And for us, it's about acknowledging that we know we want to play a role in these big global challenges, and that we need you to help us get that done for Michigan and for all of us. So that's what we're up to in the Mitten State. I hope you'll help us get it done. All right, thank y'all. I am out of time, and I'm going to invite our first radical talent attractor trying something incredible in their own place up for our first 5x5. Come on over. Here we go.
Hello, hello. I feel kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing here because I'm Tennessee, and I think we are the South. We're the Southeast, but Ted and the folks at Midwest House were kind enough to welcome me and have me join y'all today. So I'm Lindsay Cox. I'm the CEO of Launch Tennessee. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We're also a public-private partnership with our friends at the state of Tennessee, and we are focused on innovation and entrepreneurship all across the great state of Tennessee. Who joined us at the Tennessee House this weekend? Show of hands. Who has seen the raccoon tote bag and gone feral over it? I really thought I was going to maybe get mugged on the street for mine last night. But anyway, so at Launch Tennessee, we're really known for doing three things. Number one is connections. So we have a network of regional entrepreneur centers spread all across the state that are funded and programmatically supported by us at Launch Tennessee, kind of acting as that centralizing organization. We also have a network of industry partners in industries that are valuable to the state of Tennessee. So think bio, think advanced energy, ag tech, consumer product, fintech, mobility. That was 6, I got them all. We also produce a very large tech conference, not as large as this, but maybe one day, called 3686. We've been doing that for about 10 years now. If you are a startup who is looking to fundraise, 3686 is a great place to go and meet those investors. We welcomed $200 billion in assets under management. That's right, I said billion with a B, not million with an M, to 3686 last year to meet with startups. So we had over 900 one-on-one meetings between investors and startups. And this is our first year doing an activation at South by Southwest. So something new for talent attraction for us and really under that connections vertical. So next up, we've got commercialization. So we at Launch Tennessee, we help support SBIR, STTR grant writing. So if you are a founder who is interested in SBIR or STTR, we can actually help you write and submit your proposal. So some fun, for my federal folks in the room, or people familiar with that program, the average hit rate for SBIR is about 17%. With Launch Tennessee support, it's 40%. And so think about the difference that makes, right, with funds coming in for those companies who are innovating in technology. Also, so that's the front end. We're going to help you write the grant. On the back end, we have an SBIR, STTR matching fund program. So non-dilutive funding. If you are successful in your pursuit of SBIR and you want to reside with us in the state of Tennessee, we can come in with a $100,000 to $300,000 match that actually helps you on the business side. So we're super happy federal's helping you with your tech. We want to come help you expand your team, get that needed equipment, do what you need to do to anchor in the state of Tennessee. And then last but not least, we're piloting a new tech transfer office initiative at Launch, so actually helping our smaller universities get that technology out and into the market. And so that was 2 C's, right? I got connections, commercialization. Our last and our third C is capital. And so we do have an investment fund at Launch Tennessee. SBIR's non-dilutive investment fund. We do take an equity stake. So we just launched our 3rd fund. So I get to joke that it's actually not my first rodeo. It's not even my 2nd rodeo. It's our 3rd rodeo. So $70 million direct investment. Check size range $25,000 all the way up to $3 million. So pre-seed, Series A, little light Series B. We can lead if our check size is above about $1 million. And so if you are a company who is interested in investment, we are great folks to talk to. And since we're on the subject of talent, I'll get to plug our other kind of unique talent program we've been offering for several years now. So we actually have an intern program we've been running for about 7 years now, where we pair students from all over the country, so not just Tennessee, with Tennessee startups. And we help pay that stipend for the summer. So last year we welcomed a class of 40 interns. 48% of those ended up continuing on with that startup. So a great way to kind of source some of that innovative talent. Always happy to talk about that program. I thought I was going to leave time for questions, and I haven't. I've only got 22 seconds left. Somebody yells a question at me, though, I'll answer it. If not, you can come find me at the Tennessee House until 2 o'clock, which is only 45 minutes from now. I do not have raccoon totes for you, though. I'm sorry. Thank you all so much, and welcome to the stage, my friend from St. Louis.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karlos Ramirez. I'm the Vice President of Latino Outreach for the International Institute of St. Louis. We're an organization that has been around for 105 years. So we've really helped immigrants come to St. Louis and thrive. So we're really trying to look at our mission where we're bringing Bosnians, for example. There are more Bosnians in St. Louis than there are anywhere else but Bosnia. And so we're helping Ukrainians resettle. My job is now to bring people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, because President Biden is allowing a program to be able to give them 2 years of work permits as well as apply for asylum to potentially stay longer. our population in St. Louis is actually shrinking. So the program makes a lot of sense for us to help grow our economy, to help grow our region, to help grow the workforce. And so if you look at the majority of other programs, other economic development cities, for example, New York being the most thriving, they have 30+% foreign-born people in New York. Meanwhile, we went from the 20th largest economy in the United States to the 21st, and correlation is our foreign-born people is 5.5%. So obviously, we believe that having foreign-born people, as they are 32% more likely to start a business, and now even amongst the Latinos, the Latinas are actually more likely to start businesses, go to colleges. So the whole woman empowerment, particularly in this month of March. Yes. And with that, we're very fortunate that we have a mayor that is a woman and that she is progressive. And so that's been very good for us. And she's even created a new office of welcoming new Americans. So for us, we're trying to recruit Latinos to amplify our workforce that's aging out, that's shrinking with the population shrinking. And so we are offering up to 3 months rent that we're paying for them, that we're co-signing the lease, paying the security deposit, then eventually getting their name on the lease so they could start establishing credit. Then we're also helping them connect with jobs with our job placement department. We are also giving them the first 6 months of a cell phone with T-Mobile, a relationship we have with them. And so after that, they take over the payments. But again, they're establishing credit. Within our organization, it's a one-stop shop. We also have an economic development. So we have Community Development Corporation that will help them get loans to establish credit, to start a business. And so we're helping them with that as well. We also have trafficking department. So if any of these immigrants are being trafficked or in danger of it, we cover that as well. So really any area that you would need to welcome you and to thrive in the region, we're offering all of that. We're offering English classes, and that's regardless of your legal status in the country. We offer that to all immigrants. We're offering advice all the time as to how to start a business. We're offering the phones, as I said. We're offering basic computer classes. And with the English classes, we're teaching them how to interview for jobs in English. And so we're really hoping to be able to get, right now, just Venezuelans alone, there are more than 7 million that are displaced. 7.5 million displaced Venezuelans. And 6 million of them are living in Latin America and the Caribbean. So even if we bring a percentage of the 1.5 million to come to St. Louis to help grow our economy, we think that's going to be helpful for us. Now, of course, because we are in a red state, we have to be very careful about how we're doing that, but we have the right people in place that are welcoming to it. I recently met with a gubernatorial candidate who's the odds-on favorite to win, and he's even in favor of this program because we're bringing people that are documented, that will be able to amplify the workforce, that are immigrants more likely to add jobs and create jobs with their businesses. So we're really pleased with the work that we're doing so far. Right now, we've been going to other cities where there are a lot of displaced immigrants. And so we've gone to New York, we've gone to Boston, we've gone to Chicago, we will go to Denver. At some point, I will go to Cuba. If things get safer in Venezuela, Nicaragua, Haiti, I will go there as well. But the whole idea is for us to grow our population and be as welcoming as we can. And so with that, we want to make sure that we keep doing the work, working with the mayor's office, working with our greater chamber, and all of that, the fact that our city is all on board with this project, so much so that my program is actually not even federally funded. It's a private fund. So luckily, there's a gentleman that really believes in the growing and having immigrants in St. Louis, that he's privately funded my initiative, as well as my counterpart who's working to bring Afghan people to the United States, or to St. Louis as well. And so all of that is the whole idea of growing our region with immigrants. So with that, I would say visit St. Louis. You know, we're the city with the big arch, of course. And we got a great soccer team that unfortunately we couldn't pull out a win yesterday. Sorry, Nashville, or sorry, Tennessee, or whoever we played Austin today. Yeah. So luckily we came out at least with a point with a tie. So please come visit us in St. Louis. Thank you so much. And Rachel from Hello West Michigan.
All right, what is up, Austin? Welcome to Midwest House. If this is your first time here, it is my 5th time here, and I'm so excited to be on the stage. Let's give another round of applause for Hilary, Karlos, and Tennessee. Thank you so much. So my name is Rachel Gray. I am the Executive Director of Hello West Michigan. There's a nice greeting built right in there. Hello, welcome. So what's really cool about my organization is we are actually the first organization of our kind in the country. So we started in 2007. We're an organization that's solely dedicated to talent attraction and retention and driven by member employers. And what is so fun about being first is there's no one else like you. And now it is such a pleasure to share the stage with 3 other states that are doing absolutely incredible work. And so we do a lot more than we could probably cover in 5 minutes. We do a lot of the similar things that some of these other states are doing. But I want to focus on a couple that we have going at Hello West Michigan. So in addition to who I lead at my region in West Michigan, I also lead a coalition of partners around the state called Back to Michigan. So my friends from Flint and Kalamazoo and Ann Arbor are all here. So give it a shout. Make sure you chat with them as well, because they all do very similar work to what I do. And in Michigan, as you heard from Hilary, there's amazing things happening. And what is so cool about Michigan is that we not only have what's happening at the state level, which is a lot of money, let me tell you, a lot of money being spent, but then we have this incredible network of regional talent attraction organizations, which means if you say, man, Michigan sounds cool, I might want to move there. What is it like there? You can literally pick up the phone and call us, and me, Rachel, will answer the phone and answer whatever question you might have about the region or what it's like to live there. So at Hello West Michigan, we focus on 3 things. We focus on education, so what is it like to live there? Attraction, we run advertising campaigns to get people to take a look. And then connections, how can we get people ingrained in the community and connected with employment and with companies? So those are our 3 pillars. And you know, one thing I've realized about doing this work for such a long time is there are stages of relocation. So the first one is all about your immediate needs. It's about finding a job, finding a house, and finding schools for your kids if you have them. Those are the first 3 things that have to happen. And then the second stage is all about finding your services, feeling like you live there. How do you go to work and not get lost or have to use Google Maps on your way to work from your house? And then the third stage is finding your people, finding your community, finding the things that you like to do in your community. And so after we kind of realized this, after 10 years of talent attraction work, I knew that we needed to do something to address this issue, because people move, and you already heard, moving is one of the most stressful life situations you will ever encounter. And that means that people need a lot of help when they move. And so we developed a program called Rapid Roots, and this is one of our many programs that we do, and it's a community onboarding program for new relocatees. Right? When someone is new, when they're new to a company, you think they get onboarded to the company, right? They might have a company buddy or a mentor. People take them out to lunch. There's usually a whole program of what happens for them in their first few months at that company. But who's onboarding them into our communities? Who's giving them the welcome into the West Michigan community? Who's telling them about the cool places that maybe they saw in the brochure when they decided to move there, but who's inviting them out on Friday night to actually go to those places? And that's what we do at Hello West Michigan in our Rapid Roots program. So it's set up as a cohort-style program because we want to build trust really quickly, and we want you to walk out with 15 new friends. That's really, really important for us. And we talk all about the community. So what is the history of West Michigan? What is our economy built on? What is arts and culture, our outdoor recreation opportunities, our food, dining, and nightlife? And then we do a special session on how to make friends. I always hear that what the miracle for Jesus was having 12 friends as a 30-year-old. That's true, right? As a culture, we are not good at making friends. As adults, we're not good at making friends. And so that's a really, really important part of this cohort program, is teaching you how to make connections and how to keep connections as an adult and where to go make those things happen. It's been incredibly successful. We've had 2 cohorts so far, and we're recruiting for our 3rd one right now. And although it sounds like a retention tool, right, it happens once you already get there, it's actually an attraction tool, right? Because now if our companies can say, hey, if you come here as part of your company onboarding program and part of your professional development, will send you through the Hello West Michigan Rapid Roots program. So it's a little bit of retention and a little bit of attraction, which I love because you need both, right? If you don't do retention, you're going to be attracting for the rest of your life. And so this is just one of the programs that we have at Hello West Michigan that is really exciting. It's really new for us. We do many of the things that a lot of our other folks do, like attracting interns and doing campaigns and website and all of that. But Rapid Roots is kind of a fun, more unique one. So I wanted to make sure I highlighted that. I will be around all day. If you're a potential Michigander, I would love to meet you. And with that, I'm going to invite up Mika Burley, who's going to tell you a little bit more about what's happening in Detroit. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Mika Burley, the Associate Director of Skills at Michigan Central. Michigan Central is a social enterprise committed to bringing innovation and mobility to our 30-acre campus, which is comprised of the iconic Michigan Central train station, our new lab at Michigan Central building, which is a home for startups and entrepreneurs who want a thriving ecosystem to be surrounded by, as well as several parcels of land that are on our campus. But we're not committed to innovation just for the sake of innovation. Our commitment is also to our community and bringing our community along that journey. So we're also committed to the economic, social, cultural, and physical development of the community that we sit within. And so what my team does as the skills team is we have a recognition that as that mobility sector continues to grow, we'll need talent. And so we've developed a strategy that will both attract individuals from other states to Detroit and to the region, as well as retaining the people who are already in our community, which we know Detroit is home to the most brilliant people, but we don't often have the resources to get the skills to get into the incredible jobs that will be a result of the mobility sector continuing to grow. So we haven't decided what those plans are on our own. We've done so by convening a business roundtable that's comprised of startup founders as well as corporate partners so that we understand what those talent needs are and we're not just making up stuff on our own. And we also work very closely with our public-private partnerships team, so folks from the state of Michigan, the city of Detroit, and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. So we have 3 key pillars of programming that will help skill people up for competitive jobs in the mobility industry. The first one being K-12, so reaching further downstream and providing an opportunity for our youth to learn about careers in innovation, technology, and mobility so that when they're older, they're ready for those jobs. And also, it provides a lens of equity, making sure that those students who may not have otherwise had that exposure are able to get it. Our second pillar is our adult economic mobilities pathways. And this is really focused on the adult learners in our community who are those highly skilled folks who just need doubling down on some of the skills that they'll need to be in the mobility and innovation industry. And so these are programs that are designed to train, reskill, and upskill those folks so that they can get those jobs. And our third pillar is our post-secondary pathway. And so this is just leaning into the talent that comes out of Michigan colleges and universities and attracting those who come from universities in other states. And so what we know is that when folks are getting their degrees in STEM fields that would make them highly competitive for those jobs, about 70% of them are leaving the state. And so what we want to do is keep them in Detroit, keep them in Michigan, but also attract others so that we can have a very robust talent pool. And as we design these initiatives, we do so with the lens of equity and making sure that that is a through line to all that we do. And we know that human beings need support outside of skills building. And so that's why wraparound supports are a critical component to the work that we do. We've also invested in a micro grants fund so that when people have emergency needs, like my car broke down or I need support with utilities, that we're able to immediately grant them $599 or less. That number is important because there's no tax implication for it within 24 to 48 hours to help meet that need so that they can persist through the skills building initiatives that they're participating in. One initiative that I do want to call out specifically that's in our higher education pillar, the post-secondary one that we talked about, is a fellowship program that we've been working with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation and the Office of Future Mobility and Electrification on. And this fellowship will allow for 6 individuals who are recent graduates to be employed on our campus working on really creative, innovative mobility projects housed in startups so that they can get a real-world experience. They'll be compensated up to $100,000 for 15 months in this fellowship program. These are some people who, some may be in Michigan already, some may be coming to Michigan for this really incredible experience. And those are some of the things that we're working on as a skills team in Michigan Central to both attract new talent to the region and to retain the brilliant folks that are already in our backyard. Thank you so much. I have 3 seconds, no time for questions, but I'm around if you have any. Thank you. And I'm going to introduce my friend Justin Harian from Tulsa.
Thank you. So I get to go last, so I have the advantage of hearing everything that everyone's doing and then kind of pulling on some strings that I know are cross cities and what we're doing here in Tulsa. So my name is Justin Harian. I'm the managing director for Tulsa Remote. Did anyone have a chance to get over to the Tulsa house over the last couple of days? Yeah? Good. Well, I just want to represent the fact that that house was really a collective of brands, of folks and organizations that are working to recruit and retain folks to Tulsa. It's a team effort. Today, I'm here highlighting Tulsa Remote, which is one of the many programs, but could spend all day telling you about all the different awesome things that are happening in Tulsa. But Tulsa Remote, if you haven't heard of it, was a program that we started back in 2018 in an effort to attract knowledge workers to the city. Knowing that we needed to diversify our talent force and attract people in, the majority of remote workers at the time were knowledge workers. And so we had this idea, which was really the first of its kind, that if we paid people to move to Tulsa, they commit to do a year in Tulsa doing their remote job. We were really placing a bet on the fact that they would stick around and fall in love with the place. And we'd seen time and time again that it's often hard, like many Midwest cities, to get people to visualize what it might look like to live there. But if we could pull people in and actually get them there, we really were betting on the fact that they'd stick around, they'd fall in love, they'd see what life could look like, and would make it a home for a while. And so we did that. We launched the program almost overnight. There was about 10,000 applications, and we selected 70 in that first group to come to Tulsa in 2019. And then, of course, everything changed, right? Jobs that we didn't know were remote are now remote. Jobs that maybe shouldn't have been remote are now remote. And people are just kind of figuring out like how to do this remote thing, right? And so in 2020, we grew like crazy. We had about 350 people come to the city that year. 950 came in 2021. And now it has become something that we've really learned how to scale. And every couple of weeks, we're moving new people to the city. Here in the next month or so, we'll hit our 3,000th member that has moved to the city through Tulsa Remote. Yeah, which is worth celebrating. Thank you for the one person in the back that was celebrating that. That means a lot. And we've seen about 90% of people stay beyond the year, the commitment that they make. And about 75% of people that have ever come through the program and finished their year are still there today. So there's obviously a lot of good things that can come from this, right? There's economic benefit. We've seen about $600 million added to the direct labor income that we're bringing into the state. We know that when you attract people to the state, there's now natural local jobs that are created. You know, you need more bartenders and baristas and people working at hotels, and we can see in our economic reporting that there's about 1,000 jobs that have been created locally because of Tulsa Remote bringing more people to the city. And, you know, for me, like in Tulsa, I'm sure like many of these cities, if there was a company that was relocating to the city and bringing 1,000 jobs with it, that would be front page news, right? And that's like ancillary benefit of the program. We know that for about every 3 remote workers, there's an additional 2 people that come with them. So there's ripple effects, more visitors, more flights, you know, good stuff that's coming because of this. But even outside of the numbers in the economic, you know, math that adds up, there's also just really good people that are coming to the city. And we do our best to select folks that we know are going to contribute to the city, that are going to get involved. And it's funny because the headline is very much about giving people money to move to a place, but what we're really looking for is people that are ready to give to a city, and trying to select folks that are not just there to take something, but ready to give and make Tulsa better than they found it. And it's been a real success. We've seen folks that are leading organizations, the chair for the Tulsa Young Professionals, which is one of the young professional groups in the country, is a Tulsa Remoter. We have folks considering running for office, starring in local productions of theater. About 1 in 5 have actually opened a business since moving to Tulsa. So just seeing a lot of really awesome ways that folks are contributing to the city and leaving it better than they found it. So I think I have like 30 seconds for questions if there are any. If not, it's my job to close this out. So I'll pause and see if there's any questions that I'd be happy to answer. Awkward silence. All right, then with that, thank you so much for coming to the Midwest House today. We're so glad you're here. Have a good rest of the day.